I do hope that a lot of younger artists have, even though this has not been such a great time to be able to sell our work or to show our work, and established artists like myself, maybe I can, happily say I don't care. But at the same time, I feel for those who really do want to kind of reach out to various buyers, architects, decorators, and also to all the people who enjoy having art around them. I look forward to seeing sort of new media coming out of this experimental lockdown, I call it, and especially a lot of experimentation to happen, and not just physical kind, but actually our thoughts need to be really sorted. And I think a lot of us have had enough time to do that. And I've seen a lot on social media. Social media has produced a lot of publicity and a lot of exposure for a lot of artists. And I see artists sharing their work on social media, and I'm quite amazed at how well they have done. Maybe it's old work, but they obviously know what is their good work, and they have showcased some lovely, lovely artwork. I hope that the inspiration that we could draw before from, say, our travel or our exposure to life can come back, because that is something that I miss a lot. I haven't been able to meet people, to interact with people, and I'm hoping to be able to do the same as soon as this is over and completely take off and work twice as much. At the same time, there are many artists who have been working through this difficult time, and the reason being that we do have a lot of time on our hands, and that's also very good if that is the way one looks at it. I think it's important to see it as a positive rather than a negative.
I think it's not a question of just being positive or resilient. It is a question of having what is the correct state of mind. Always, even if it's pre-COVID or post-COVID, the idea is to have a state of the growing mind. What is the growing mind basically? When if you go back when you were in school or college, you were in that phase where you actually whatever came across you tend to absorb, you tend to filter out the residue, but at least keep the right stuff with you and you moved on with that. But as you grow up and as you move in your practice, you tend to have this suddenly an attitude which is like, I know it all. And this is where I feel, where it all starts going south. Where it actually, you tend to be more complacent and eventually you will stagnate. To overcome this, what we do at KNS is dwell a lot of time in research, in analysis, in a lot of development. Because I strongly believe that there should be a sense of growing all the time, and this is where you keep yourself busy.
Being in this situation does remind you that we should all take stock of our lives and definitely make a few changes when we get back to normal. Take time for oneself and the family and do meaningful work. Always be proud of the work that you do, work that will inspire and make a difference to people's lives.
Architecture is an equation where the world gives the input and we create space, built environment around it. This equation is being challenged at this moment with variable inputs, and the output is definitely going to be something which needs to be researched upon, something which needs to be studied. There is going to be behavioral changes. There are work-life balances being questioned at this moment. There are cultural and social aspects of interaction which are being questioned at this moment. So life as we know is going through a complete change. And we need to capture this in the architectural development. A simple example of a tree. In a storm, a tree sways to overcome the storm. This flexibility and adaptability of the tree allows it to survive. Similarly, we need to take inferences from nature, get this flexibility and adaptability into our infrastructure and make it flexible. Flexibility is going to be the new currency in design.
So all of us are wondering what this new normal will look like. Will it be a dystopian state or will it be a hallowed utopia? We do not know. Well, one thing is for sure that the situation is not binary and the resultant will not be singular. The new normal will be what we want it to be. If the world as we know today has been imagined and made, then it definitely can be reimagined and remade. And that's where lies the beauty. A situation that demands an approach that responds to plurality of the context, thoughts, actions, and results. Looking to respond constructively to this situation, many of us have turned to what we know best, ideation. I'm in no doubt that an inspired ideation will unlock an idea that will help defy these times. We as a fraternity must invest in efforts to reinvent ourselves, to be leader in thought, to challenge the constraints, to create the unborn, and most importantly, to unlearn so that we can learn again.
I think if we've learned anything, it is that viruses are here to stay. And viruses today, it may be the coronavirus, but we've learned from H1N1 to SARS to MERS to Ebola that viruses will keep coming back, and perhaps we will have to learn to engage in different ways, and we will have to study, create learnings, and really lean on each other. I see the industry reaching out to each other and seeing ourselves really as a larger uniform. We have a friend here. And I would say that I see the industry as being a bit more connected, that there will be more cooperation, there will be perhaps a little less competition, and that we will be reaching out to each other and seeing a little more helpfulness and cooperation across platforms. And I think that disruption is a part of life. And really, this sort of kick in the pants disruption was something that we needed maybe for a while. Unfortunately, a lot of people had to die, and unfortunately, it's turned out to be much more unpleasant than one would have liked. But disruption is always useful, and disruption always creates growth.
The only thing I know is we need all the freedom we can have to allow the imagination to flow, to allow entrepreneurs to come forward with new models, to allow space utilizations to be freely explored, and then let the market work out and redistribute all values. I think that will be beneficial for everybody. There's no other way to make this transition into a new pattern without a massive loss of everybody's prosperity. Of course, these adaptations mean, of course, also a temporary loss of value, a temporary adjustment, but it's really the emphasis here on temporary. A year, 2 or 3 maximum, we could kind of be soaring out if we get the freedoms we require to make these discoveries.